Next up in our review of Magnificent 7 stocks here in May of 2024 is Meta, ticker META, otherwise known as Facebook. So we're going to head right to the daily chart for this one. And I'm going to walk you through the action that has been unfolding since the November 2022 low, big picture, and then hone in on what's happening on Meta right now. So as you can see, this market had been pushing lower and made an important low in November of 2022. Now, if you're new here, I'm Hima Reddy, and I use price action, candlesticks, and patterns you see here, market timing or forecasting, and I'll talk about that in a moment, as well as momentum. This is my favorite momentum indicator plotted down below the RSI power zones. So check out how there was a lift from the bull support power zone along with a doji candlestick, and this market began to recover and gapped up, likely on earnings news. But even that gap up was accompanied with a push into the bull resistance power zone. The RSI power zones takes the standard relative strength index or RSI indicator and tweaks it so that you can use it to trade strong trends like this. The market pulled back briefly, continued higher, and in this period, you can see all it did was work off overbought conditions. Continued again with a gap, continued, put in multiple bearish divergences, but still pushed higher, and then had a more significant correction. But even then, in August of 2023, that correction didn't push much lower than the bull support power zone. After a few months of consolidation, finally started to resume higher and has so far continued, making a peak at about $530 per share in mid-April. Now, what you see here, these two purple lines are plotting a forecast. So this forecast actually could have been drawn after the formation of this April 8th peak, and it gave me a sense of the amount of time it might take for the stock to trade lower. This is based on relationships from earlier in the chart with the recent price action. So I teach this in the loss forecasting trading system. And guys, this forecasting technique you will not see anywhere else. It's one of my go-tos and I use it every day on daily charts like this, as well as intraday charts down to a 1 minute or even a 15-second chart. Okay, so this is the magnet, the intersection of these two lines. So we could have drawn that as early as the formation of the April 8th high and been seeing this pull. So you can see that if this was the magnet, the market fell below it, but the timing of it was still useful. This is a few days later than the actual price low. I'm just trying to get a ballpark of where that forecast was. Okay, that was the magnet, and now we have new action unfolding. But here's the thing. There is also a magnet out at July 12th, and it's actually for the same price roughly. So if we take this line here and we extend it out, what this is saying is that because of the prior action in Meta, there's a possibility that this stock kind of churns around a bit and that it still lands at about, $4.85 per share out July 12th. So it could go higher, pull back. It could just chop around here and then get to that level. The pathway is too far out to determine right now, but we can use the short-term action to guide it. All right, so now let me go ahead and dial into the more recent daily action. And that includes this gap that this market's attempting to close. So I'm going to throw a line down here to represent that level. So check this out. After a run up since October of 2023, the price action pushed below the most recent higher low from April 1st and now has recovered back towards that level. This is an important price pattern, and I dive into this in the GAN trading pattern system. So there's a forecasting element in both the loss forecasting system and the GAN trading patterns because of a special calculator that I use in GAN trading patterns and because of my twist on the existing GAN patterns. So with this unfolding, what do I expect? Well, if I come in and use loss forecasting techniques, here's what I watch for. Using my simplest trend assessment tool from the loss forecasting trading system, we can already see that this move is over. Again, loss forecasting students, you know how to do that. But what we need to see is a continued push below this latest higher low at 460.08 to show that bears are truly resuming. This would line up beautifully with the RSI power zones holding the bear resistance power zone. And it looks like we could even add a trend line in to the action here. Oh, boom, look at that, guys. I didn't have that all lined up. I just saw that now and drew it. So Meta is primed to move lower in the short term. If it trades below 460.08, the next major targets would be 445.77 and 414.50 through 450 cents per share. If instead it continues higher, breaking above this trend line, here are the resistance levels I would monitor. Again, the most important, there are other shorter term ones in between. So there you have it, a look at Meta. We've got this long-term magnet out pulling into the $485 price area. So again, I'll add back that line. Okay. So this is reinforcing even more the importance of this 485 level because the forecast is speaking to it, as well as GAN trading patterns, as well as this falling trend line. Very, very important resistance. Awesome. Well, if you're finding value in these Mag 7 videos, I'm almost done. There's one more left, but I would love to know. So give this video a like, put a comment down below, and I'll catch you next time.